In today's video, I'm going to teach you guys 5 things that I, as an amateur golfer, wish I learned earlier. I have just teed off on the 10th hole at Formby Hall. We've hit a nice 4-iron about 200 yards down basically the middle of the fairway. And the first thing we're going to talk about is a bit of sports psychology, because we love sports psychology on this channel. And I always tell you guys, go and read Golf is Not a Game of Perfect by Dr. Bob Rotella. We're going to talk about how being confident is better than being good. Now that might sound mental, and there's a few little facets that we're going to talk about. I've got 85 yards to this flag, which for me is quite a comfortable number because it is one of the flags on the driving range that I practice to. So I'm quite happy hitting an 85-yard shot, and assuming I execute, we should be on the green relatively near the flag. Absolutely perfect. Now, how does that come into being confident is better than being good? If you stand behind a ball and are not comfortable and are not envisioning yourself striping the ball and hitting a perfect shot, the odds of you actually doing so are much, much lower. Now, we aren't all on the PGA Tour. We're not going to hit a perfect shot 10 times out of 10. However, confidence even affects them PGA Tour pros. You see when they're going down the last hole. Tommy Fleetwood is one of my favourite golfers in the world, but he is notorious for not quite being able to get over the line on the PGA Tour because confidence and pressure and stress really, really affect even the best players' golf swing. So obviously it affects yours, obviously it affects mine. If, let's say, you stand behind a shot that is 85 yards, like I've got here now, and if you're confident and you believe in yourself and you back yourself, you might hit it well, let's say 7 out of 10 times. If you don't believe in yourself, you're gonna do it 4 or 5. Now, you could say, but what's the point? I'm not doing it 10 times out of 10, but you're doing it 3 times more. That is the important part. That belief isn't going to make you a perfect golfer, but it's going to make you a much better golfer than the unconfident version of yourself. So let's put that to the test and let me, with all my might, focus on that flag, believe that I've got the confidence to hit a good shot, and let's go and do it. We caught it a little bit fat, but we were on the green. Hey, maybe that's one of our 3. It doesn't matter, so long as you don't let it rattle you and so long as you don't let it get to you, and you go to your next shot, be a goldfish, completely forget about it, and apply that exact same logic. Yes, I'm not going to hit the shot perfect every time, but if I believe in myself and I'm confident with it, I'll hit it better more times than if I wasn't confident. Let's go to our putting. So we've landed perfectly on line, checked back a little bit, and we've come up about 15 to 20 yards short. I caught it a bit fat because it was on a hill. Now, everything I've just said then sounds very aloof, very loopy, like, oh, just be confident, be positive. Like, how do you actually apply that to golf? You put yourself in situations that you're confident in. If a hole is 350 yards long and your driver goes 260, but you're not confident with 90-yard shots, why are you hitting a driver? If you like your pitching wedge and your pitching wedge goes 125, let's hit a 225 club off the tee and leave ourselves a full pitching wedge, because then you're confident in the shot and you'll do it better more often. And that is also why you need to grind your chip and practice, so you can stand over that and be confident that you're going to play a good shot. So there we go. Nice part to start us off. Believe in yourself. Not because you're some super mental warrior with the mentality of Cristiano Ronaldo or Tiger Woods, just because you may as well. All right, tip number 2, your clubs don't always go the same distance. This is something that took me personally quite a while to realize all of the different things that can actually matter. And now I'm teaching you guys as an average golfer myself, because I think it's good to pass on knowledge that we've picked up together. And if you've got any good tips, please do pop them down in the comment section for me. We've already done a video like this and you guys really liked it, so I thought we'd jump back on and have a little bit more knowledge-based stuff that I've just learned and picked up tips from other people. There's a few interesting ones. There was one of them in the Training for a Month video, which blew my mind when Neil taught me, so we'll come on to that shortly. But your clubs don't always go the same distance. So I have got myself a driving iron just because I know how to play this course now. This is my home course, it's Formby Hall. So I know driving iron, edge of them trees is the ideal shot. We'll see when we get down there what club I've got in, but there's going to be lots of different things that are going to affect what club I choose, and we can talk through the ones that are there and the ones that mightn't necessarily be there on this shot or the shot we're about to have, but that can occur in golf and you guys need to make sure you take it into account. Not my best shot. Almost fell over backwards. It's got about 150 yards. Your clubs don't always go the same distance, but we're in the middle of the fairway, so it's fine. Not my best shot, not my worst shot in the end. We're middle of the fairway. We've got 186 yards in. Now, let's take a look at the ball. First things first, it's absolutely covered in crap. Now, luckily, it is winter rules, so we can pick this ball up. We should have marked it, but we're not scoring. We're not playing in a competition, and it's marked by the big fat divots that we've just made in the middle of the fairway. And we can clean the ball and place it back. That's great for winter rules. You can't do that normally. If your ball's covered in mud, until you get on the green and can mark it and pick it up, you can't clean your ball. So that's something that you have to take into consideration. And it's not something I ever really did until I started to get better at golf, but doing so really helps you. It's the same as when you're on the green or when you're playing a chip. The mud on the ball will really, really affect the roll of your putts. But there is so many other things. And there's a really famous Phil Mickelson meme where he's doing an interview and he's like, somebody says to me, their wedge goes 120. Well, does your wedge go 120? Does it go 120 at sea level or at altitude? What about in the morning? Is it dewy? Has the sun just come up so the air's got moisture in it? And he just like goes off on one about all of this mad stuff. Now, we're not professional golfers. Our clubs go different distances because we don't hit them the same each time we hit them. But there's a few things that it's good to be aware of. We all know wind. Everyone takes into account the wind. Nobody I know takes into account the temperature. If you're floating in a reasonably thick bit of fairway, or maybe in the semi-cut, you're gonna maybe get a flyer. Your ball won't spin as much out of the rough, which doesn't matter as much in the winter because most likely you're gonna hit the green and just stop and plug. But in the summer, be aware, if you land on a hard green and you've come out the rough, your ball won't spin, it's not gonna stop. You need to play a little bit further back. It might get a flyer, so you need to pick the club that goes a little bit further back. Annoyingly, you might also just catch the rough and not go as far. There's loads of different things. For me, the main ones are the lie of the ball. If it's below your feet, above your feet, mostly for distance. If you're on an upslope, this one's not, this is flat. But if I was like this, it's gonna take about a club off. And you'll start to get a feel once you know these things of, oh wow, that shot come up short because of this slope. And next time you're on the slope and you've got a bit of an upslope, you go, oh, not a 6 iron, let's play a 5. Not a pitching wedge, let's play a 9. Below your feet, everyone knows goes right. Above your feet, everyone knows goes left. But for some reason, people don't account for on an upslope, ball goes higher and won't go as far. And beyond that, I'm picking the right target. So I've picked back of the green, about 190, 6 iron, bit of wind behind.
Are you going for it?
Yeah.
You're mad.
Sorry, what did you just say, Rob? I'm also going to throw back to my previous video where I talked about course management. Go and watch that because what I just tried then was absolutely stupid. And if I wasn't filming just a silly tips video where the golf doesn't actually really matter, I wouldn't have hit that shot. However, I did, and it's worked out very well. Let's see whether we can get a birdie. Not with that amount of bobble, we can't. Good old winter greens. But we'll have ourselves another par. Okay, so like I just said, what I just did on that hole then was silly, risky, stupid. You probably shouldn't do it if you're trying to score well. This next tip is something that it took me a very long time to internalize and actually start doing and get over that ego that we all have as golfers. And this is going to be, there's no pictures on a scorecard. Everybody who's played golf ever has said that. Some people say it multiple times around, or that'll play is everyone's other favorite one. When you've just topped one off the tee, but it runs 200 yards down the fairway and it's absolutely sound. No pictures on a scorecard. And everyone says that and everyone's fine with that. However, I want you to think about no pictures on a scorecard for a different reason. If you go out and shoot your personal best and then you go into the clubhouse and tell all your mates, or you text all your mates, oh my God, I've just shot my new PB. Absolutely none of them are gonna reply, did you hit any pitching wedges from 50 yards? Because there's no pictures on a scorecard. Nobody cares. But for some reason, we all have that little ego thing that we're here to play good shots. You're not. You want to play good golf. You want to score well. You want to be able to finish a round and brag about how well you've just scored. We all do. That's what everybody wants. You don't do that by hitting hero shots. The stupid thing that I just did on that last hole. If I'd have laid up, chipped on and got a par, no one would say, oh, did you lay up on any par fours when you broke your PB? Of course they wouldn't. There's no pictures on a scorecard. All they care about is the number at the end. So remove the ego and play the safe shots, which goes back to tip number one, the ones you're comfortable with. It doesn't have to be a really nice looking shot. Just get really good at bumping a pitching wedge 50 yards onto an open green, and your scores will come down loads once you remove your ego. Right, speaking of which, let's smash a driver. No, I would hit driver on this hole. This is a driver hole. But I would have laid up on the last hole if I was playing a medal. We're just playing some golf to go along with the tips. And it is some good golf that we're now playing. Go on the ball. Bit fadey, right hand side of the fairway, lovely. Okay, I've just hit a very good drive. I've got myself 150 yards in. Lovely lie, first cut. Not going to affect the ball too much like we talked about in the first video. Might get a little bit of a flyer, won't get too much spin, but it's winter, so we're not too bothered about rip back. It's fine. However, before we do that, we're going to go and talk about another tip, and the one that Neil taught me that kind of blew my mind. This one's very, very specific, so follow me over here and let's pretend that we'd sliced our driver really, really badly. And we are in the thick stuff. So you've got yourself a lie like this in the thick rough. Now, obviously we all know it's in the rough. This is going to slow the club head down as you're trying to get through the ball. You need to hit it harder. So I've now got, let's say, 160. That's probably a 7 iron for me. So if I wanted to get this to the green, it needs to be a 6 or a 5 because the club head is going to slow down as it goes through the long grass. The bit that blew my tiny little golf brain when Neil told me is a shot like this will always go left. Why? Because as you hit through it, when the club slows down, the club gets behind you, turns over, and the face will close. So when you watch the PGA Tour and they say things on the commentary like, oh, he's going to have some really strong wrists to get that out of there. I just thought, yeah, because he needs to hit it harder, because the ball needs to go further. No, because he's forcibly keeping his wrists straight to not let the club head turn and make the ball actually go where he's aiming. I do not have the ability to do that. I am not even going to bother attempting to hit that ball. And I probably, to be honest with you, if I had that shot, would try and chip it over there. But even doing that, you need to account, just doing a little chip shot, for the fact that the ball is probably going to turn quite left. One to be aware of. I wouldn't recommend going for the big shot, but even on your chips, it's going to come out left. Oh, that's not a good shot. That's really not a good shot. But we stay confident for the next one and we believe in our ability to do it, because doubting ourselves will just make it worse. Pretty good, pretty good. All right, maybe we can go par, par, par. Oh, just missed right edge. A good roll. I'll always take a bogey on this hole, one of the harder holes on the back nine. Let's move on to the 13th and our final tip of the video. For our final tip then, I'm going to pass on something which I am personally struggling with a little bit myself at the moment and have to consciously be positive about, and hopefully me talking to you guys about it is going to help you guys with that too. Learning isn't linear. So we're coming back a little bit to my favourite thing, sports psychology, but also kind of the psychobiology of it. And I'm not going to get too nerdy and talk about how motor learning happens and muscle memory is created and all of that sort of stuff, as much as I'd love to start talking about myelin and insulating your nerves and stuff. No, we're not going to go there. Basically, when you learn, it is not a straight path upwards. It goes up a bit, it goes down. It's like a stock market. And you want it to naturally go up as an average over time, but it's not always going to be on the up, and you're going to have dips, and you're going to have to go back and work on things that you previously thought you were really, really good at. And that comes from your natural tendencies of muscle memory. The first time we all swung a golf club, we all did something that we thought was right, and that was our body's natural thing. And then from there, when you get lessons, you have to work on it and try to change that and overwrite that and recreate those neural pathways to your muscles that make you do the actual right thing. And people are lucky, and some people, for me, I'm quite lucky that when I take the club to the back of the swing, this position is actually really, really good with my arms. It's A1. That's just how I do it. Unfortunately, what I do with my hips and my body and all the other stuff isn't. Maybe there's some mythical golfer whose muscle memory, originally what they do, is absolutely perfect in every way, but I very much doubt it. And they all have to work on it, and they all have to go back and re-drill things and revisit things and constantly go over stuff and stop yourself slipping into old habits that you had. And that even goes for the pros. They're always practicing with alignment sticks, with weird foam things jutting here to stop them coming over the top, all of that stuff. So just try not to get too disheartened. Always with your coaches, make sure your coach is taking you back to basics every month or two, every few months, depending on how few you have lessons. And just try not to get frustrated. Golf can be a very frustrating game, as cameraman Rob can attest to, can't you, Rob? Having quit golf for about 10 years. He's back and he's working on it and he's staying positive and he's going to get really good at golf as well, as I am on the journey too. So let's finish this hole off. Let's all be positive together. Let's stop waffling, Andy, before I start going on about kinematic feedback and stuff like that. And let's just hit a nice golf shot. Tell you what, that's about as nice of a golf shot as I could possibly hit. Wintry, front edge of the green with a 9-iron from 130. Very wintry. Let's round this video off well then. As I said last time with these tips videos, if you guys want more, please let me know, drop a like on the video. I've got loads of more generic ones that we could go through, such as why playing the same ball matters, how to grip a club properly and how to grip a putter nicely and all that sort of stuff. I'm keeping it sports psychology because that's where I've at least got a bit of an area of expertise. But like I said, if you don't, go read Dr. Bob. Golf is not a game of perfect. What a book. And with your practice, what we're aiming for with drilling and training is just to enjoy golf more. And that is where that positivity comes into it and makes you play much better golf. Don't get frustrated. Positivity breeds good golf, which is why I'm positive I'm about to sink this birdie putt. It's only about 40 yards. I mean, it's had a much better chance of going in if I'd actually aimed it at the hole, wouldn't it? Ooh. And we finished with a 3-putt, but not a bad one considering we were chipping distance away. So stay positive, enjoy your golf, and let me know if you want some more tips down in the comment section. I'll see you next week for another video.